Hi there and welcome to this short video brought to you by Kevin from Big Dog Little Dog, a tiny but innovative social enterprise that delivers mental health training to learners all around the world. We've created this video as part of this year's Mental Health Awareness Week, and the focus for the next 10 to 12 minutes is on helpful thinking habits. Why choose this as our subject? Well, 2023's Mental Health Awareness Week theme is anxiety, and for many people living with unhealthy anxiety, how we think is a big part of the problem. But first, let's acknowledge that anxiety in itself is not a problem. It's a normal, natural feeling that can save our lives in some circumstances. We sometimes use anxiety to be able to perform, and it's the part of our being that enables us to escape from danger. We've all heard of fight or flight. However, for some people that normal natural state of mind can cross the line and become troublesome. And when that's the case, so much of the problem is caused by these ants, which Adam here is going to demonstrate. What are ants? Automatic negative thoughts. These aren't the thoughts that Adam's choosing to have in that moment. They're appearing out of the depths of his mind, whether he wants them or not. Let's have a look at two examples. Here's Adam heading down a tunnel. He's fine to begin with, but as the hole gets smaller, Adam starts experiencing some automatic negative thoughts. What if I can't breathe down here? What if I get trapped? Is this space big enough? Is there enough air down here? Oh my God, I'm going to die. And in this situation, Adam's not focused on all of the reasons why he'll be fine. His mind is filled with thoughts of anxiety, dread, and doom. Here's example 2, one more relatable to the average workplace. This time, Adam's been asked to give a presentation. Let's say it's a sales pitch to a new client. The day arrives and Adam starts anticipating his moment in the spotlight. It's showtime! And then those ants kick in. Adam's thoughts are all about him failing, the client not being impressed, the presentation going wrong. And guess what? As a result of those thoughts, so what can we do when we have an ants invasion? First, let's acknowledge them. We're not wrong or weak because they happen, but we don't have to act upon them. But what we can do in that moment is introduce some more objective thoughts into our focus. Think about and concentrate on a more balanced viewpoint. And we call these thoughts more objective thinking habits. Because how we perceive a situation that we're in determines the meaning that we attach to that situation. Just look at this quote from Shakespeare. You and I could encounter the exact same situation, and where you could walk away fine, I could be deeply troubled by it. Remember, it's the meaning that we attach to the event that affects us. To paraphrase Henry Ford, if you say, I can't, then you won't. But if you say, I can, we're not guaranteeing success, but if you think, I can, then maybe you might. Now, it's all well and good you watching this video and taking on our words, but how? How can we think more objectively? Well, let's start with this fantastic collection of words known as the Serenity Prayer. Just have a read of this for a moment, please. This is so powerful. especially if we start at the bottom. First, let's get in the habit of looking at a situation or a stressor in our lives and asking ourselves, can I change this or not? Once we've established that, then let's either change it or accept it. And sometimes just telling our mind that something is beyond our control can give it permission to stop worrying about it. Now, we love the Serenity Prayer, but we do think that there's an element missing, because life isn't black and white, or in this case, green and red. Yes, there are some things in life that you have no control whatsoever over, and things that are entirely in your gift to change. But what about that amber zone? This represents things that we may not be able to control, but we can affect. And if we look at these 3 dimensions of impact, we can easily see how we should respond to each. If you can control it, then change it. If you can't control it, then accept it. But remember this area in the middle. I can't control it, but I can influence it. For instance, if my brother speaks to me in a way I don't like, I can't change how he talks to me, but I can influence it by how I talk to him, by maybe having a chat with him about how his manner affects me. So remember to ask yourself, can I change it? If not, can I influence it? If not, I need to accept it. But before we move off of this spectrum, please acknowledge that we have 10 segments in here, not just 3. So let's recognise that some things we can only influence by a small degree, but others we may be able to have a strong influence over. Equally, some things in our life are completely in our power to change, whereas others we can change a lot, but not entirely. And others we may have to accept that our role is more influencer than changer. Think here of aspects of work that you can see the need for changing, but it's not your job to make that change. Now let's see how Adam could apply these more objective thinking habits to his 2 dilemmas. Remember him in this tunnel? Adam could help himself by objectively considering his situation. He can't change the size of the tunnel, but he can influence his feelings by reminding himself of the fact that this tunnel's been here for the last 50 years and it's still going strong. He can't change the amount of oxygen in the air, but he can change his breathing to influence his central nervous system and to use up less of that oxygen. He can also remind himself that, if he chooses, he can back up and leave the tunnel whenever he pleases. And then we have that presentation of his. And how many times have you seen this? A person who knows their subject, has good communication skills, but becomes a gibbering wreck the moment the room goes quiet. So in this situation, Adam reminds himself that his life and career don't depend on the next 10 minutes. He anticipates what could go wrong that's within his control, so he takes steps to make sure that all the equipment's working shortly before the talk begins. His slides are working, his script is memorised. Adam truly believes in himself and his ability to deliver a great pitch, so guess what? He does. So coming back to this question, hopefully you'll remember the answer. More objective thinking habits. And for the observant among you, you may have noticed that we've got ourselves another acronym. Please meet Monty, our physical manifestation of those more objective ways of thinking. And if we get in the routine of using moths, over time our subconscious is learning. Use these enough and you'll find those automatic negative thoughts being replaced by more objective, automatic thinking habits. So next time you're battling your anxiety, remember Monty. He literally can float like a butterfly, even if he can't sting like a bee. Get in the habit of using moths and watch those ants fall away. Remember, more objective thinking habits. And that brings us to the end of this short video. Monty and I hope that you enjoyed it and found it useful. He's off to sunnier climes now, but feel free to subscribe to this channel for future content. And one final note. If you think that Monty was far too pretty to be a moth, then search for the rosy maple moth. You might just be surprised. Goodbye now.
Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. Oh, in other words, yeah. Baby, kiss me.